So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming in today. This is D. Durrell, D. Durrell Life Solutions. Happy to be here once again to have a discussion with you on the fact that everyone on YouTube wants to be an expert. Everybody wants to be a relationship expert. Everybody seems to have the answer to functional relationships. Everyone tends to talk every day repetitively about the same issues among black men and black women, the same issues that relate to why black men want to go overseas and why black women want to divest. And for all of these experts, pontificators, and so on, it appears to me, and I have the evidence of what I can do. It's the people who have the most failure in relationships tend to be the ones to talk about relationships the most. This shit is funny. And I'm sorry for using those words because this channel, I don't curse a lot. I thought, should I put this on my Rebirth channel? I thought hard about it because I'm going to preach today. I can go live right now in certain spaces, and I can pretty much tell you what the title is going to be about. I can tell you before they even post it. I could watch channels in the manosphere, and I can tell you, I can watch channels in the pink pill, divestment communities. I can assure you, there's certain women that constantly talk about the same thing every day. Men who talk about the same thing every day. And you know what they all have in common? They're all, for the most part, failures of the very thing that they talk about every day. They all have failed. At least, I'm going to say less than 5% are living in functional relationships, functional long-term relationships, are married. And to be honest with you, in my position, I'm only looking at those that are married because obviously you have achieved the epitome of the purpose of what a relationship is supposed to lead to. That's the cornerstone of any civilization. Men and women creating families through the institution of marriage. But it's the same people every day talking about this. I like Kendra D. But when you watch Kendra D, she's going to let you know basically how ineffective black women are. And she's a black woman. So Kendra, what makes you different from the other women? You being Muslim doesn't make you different. There's millions of black female Muslims. What makes you different? You're susceptible to the same things. If you believe that the gynocracy and black female nature is heavily flawed, you're susceptible to the same behavior because you're a woman. No different from the honest truth. The honest truth. I can tell you what his videos are going to be about. It's going to be how poorly managed black men are of themselves and their community. As if he's not a black man. Please, guys, make this make sense. And then we find out he epitomizes the very thing that he talks against, particularly in this past. Everybody's able to improve at some point. But if I came from that background, I would be the last one speaking down on what I actually represented most of my life at this point in his life. But that's the reality of Black YouTube. It's the people who know the least about relationships who talk the most. Go to Bernard Riley's channel, the whole Manosphere beehive. The exact same thing. Everybody on that panel is divorced, on child support, mad they can't see their children, can't afford to take care of their children, or they're mad at women for one reason or another. Failures of relationships. Very few of those guys have been in long-term relationships. Even though Bernard Riley has been married, not for a very long time, but long enough. But to be honest, on his own show, he's not the one talking the most. He's actually talking the least. And thank God. Thank God. But anyway, the people who talk the most know the least. Every time BMT talks about relationships, there's a certain group of people who show up. And BMT has been married for years and has had up and downs just like anybody else, including myself, in relationships. He can talk about ridding pedophiles in the community. Hardly anybody that claim they support him shows up. I watch from the clouds all the time. He talks about black men and black women learning to negotiate child support. 30, 40, 50 people. You get Negroes jumping this panel, blowing it up, talking shit, and they're failures. And they know who they are. And yes, let the goddamn slipper fit whoever wants to wear it. They know who they are. BMT could talk about schools, education, politics, nowhere to be found. Black man was simping. Black lady exploited him. The same 3 or 4 people come showing up acting like they truly support him. So it's the reason why certain people don't come to my platform anymore. And that's okay. Because I don't allow people to say goofy shit on my channel. I don't allow it. But this happens all the time. Matter of fact, it happened last night. You go to Bomb Cherry's channel. Bomb, been married. Shout out to Bomb for, I think, 20, 30 years, I think. You go to her channel when they talk about relationships. She makes the most sense out of everybody, and she talks the least. But everybody else that hops their butt on that panel, divorced, widowed, etc., 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 scarred, the filthiest of mouths, the most disrespectful, the men and the women, and I even the Bomb, come on, let's be serious. on both sides they're saying outlandish things. Doesn't matter who says what first. Just because somebody says something first don't mean you have to reply accordingly. Be more mature, be grown up about it. You don't have to respond to negativity with negativity. You choose to. But the people who talk the most about relationships know the least. And they speak the loudest as if, I dare you tell me I'm wrong. Now, let me give you two other ones. These are some of the best examples. Reg the Bad Guy Show. Shout out to Reg. I love Reg. Me and Reg got some, don't agree on everything, particularly red pill ideology. And he is a person that's been around the space a long time. But, and I'm going to say but, those Negroes on your channel, Reg, don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't. Reg, they don't. Those people on your channel have not been on dates, even though they claim they do. They are. They haven't been with women in years. A lot of them are unemployed. A lot of them are lying about what they're doing. A lot of them are a bit abrasive, and they just like to say ignorant things. Now, is it entertaining? Yes, it is. I've been up there myself, and I've indulged in it a few times. They're failures of relationships. This is the only space I know where the people who fail talk the most. And when the people who have some level of success, they try to shun them and want them to speak the least. It's the only space that I know that's like that, where the people who are credible don't talk as much as those who are not. The next scenario, next space. Femininity Breakdown, since Sister George Concrete Rose. Shout out to both of them, both the queens. I love them to death. I love their channel. I like the way they have evolved as they have managed their channel. But a lot of those niggas on there don't know what they're talking about. A lot of these guys don't know what they are talking about. A lot of these people on that channel, the people she interviewed, those that quote unquote claim that they're specialized and they wrote books, a lot of these guys don't really know what they're talking about. A lot of them, not all, but some. There are people that have been on those channels that have been interviewed, don't know a damn thing about what they claim to be writing about and selling. And this is facts. Just facts. Then you got all the Negroes that follow after someone speaks and tries to interrogate them. They're aloof to every goddamn thing when it comes to the dynamics of men and women. But they talk the most and know the least. They talk the most and they know the least. And the women who know the most, to me, Sister George married. Concrete Rose is in a long-term relationship, maybe getting married. They talk the least when those Negroes get on the panel. Now, before they get on the panel, they're balanced. Once they get on the panel, it turns into whatever it turns into. And you can predict what they're going to talk about, just like anybody else. I know what you're going to talk about. And it's not only there. I've seen other people in other black spaces talk about relationships. And the people who are the most qualified to talk about it don't talk about it. Like myself, I don't talk about relationships. If you look at my catalog, I don't talk about personal romantic relationships between men and women a lot. I don't talk about other issues. And I deal with it the most professionally every day. I've been on panels where people tried to discredit me based on the fact that I have the training, the knowledge, the education, and they try to throw the research, which is not made to create a definitive fact. Research is not definitive. Research is descriptive. Research is based on interpretation. Research is made to evaluate how people behave under certain conditions, controlled conditions. And those results give the evidence and the probability of why certain things happen. And it paints somewhat of an answer to why in an uncontrolled state and environment, like real life, that certain things happen or have a tendency to happen or the likelihood to happen. But there have been people who've argued with me over relationships. They've never been married, never had a relationship in 5 years. They don't talk to women every day. Never had any real promising success. And here I go, little old me, as you can see, where people pay me to treat people that act just like them, and very handsomely, I may say. And they listen and they heal. And within a month or two, they don't need me anymore because it's my job to work myself out of a job. And they move on. But there have been people who've been here since 15, 16 when I first came here. And they're still here today. And they have not yielded any level of growth. And I can give you an example. You can go look at BGS platform. BGS Iltmore, I may say. And the stuff he was saying 3 years ago, the same thing he's saying today. The same people who followed him 3 years ago are the same people who followed him today. And these are the same people who still live the same life with absolutely no improvement at all. Nor does anybody heavily talk about the improvements of these programs. But when I say something different, everybody wants to be triggered and have an opinion. That's what this is about. This is what YouTube has been relegated to. And let me understand you, relationships is not my most, I would say, that's not the specialty that I indulge in the most. Mental health is actually. But through the mental health, I have engaged in a large percentage of relationship therapy with men and women, individually and couples and families. And I stated myself, why are we relegating these talks strictly to Black men and Black women functioning in a romantic manner? There's other ways that we function outside of that. And I touch upon that on my platform. I've talked a lot about Black women and Black men, mother and daughter relationship, mother and son relationship. I talk about Black men not only being sons, but being fathers. I think Black fatherhood needs to be touched upon. It is not. I also think that Black men's relationship to their daughters is paramount to how Black women act to other men and how they choose. Not talked about a lot. What they tell you, you just need to, whenever a Black woman get pregnant and or the man left, you just need to choose better. Well, how the hell are you gonna choose better if the men that are that we're producing don't reflect the ideal mate. You're looking over rocks and stones to find them. You see, one consequence equals to the other. You have some people, and I'm going to do another video on this, where people feel that we should abort black children, black males. Well, first of all, there's so much stupidity in that. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to do a whole video on the analysis of aborting the black male. How ignorant that sounds, how fucking asinine it is. And the fact that there's a lot of people who follow and listen to that. And they gravitate to it. There are those who are so triggered by it. And then there's those who think she has cracked the code to liberating black women. No, you're not. All you're doing is creating a genocide that nobody black exists. Thus, you're doing the job for the white supremacists, which you once did content about, I guess. That went away. I guess it was no longer profitable. I'm continuing to surmise the fact that the people who talk the most know the least. They talk the loudest. They argue. And they win. They think they're winning arguments that they're actually losing. As far as in the aspects of facts. Give you an example. On a chat, not a chat, I was on a panel. I talked about the flawed ideology of Red Pill ideology. And there were people on the chat, to a lot of people in the chat thought, a lot of people on the panel that I was talking against, several people, thought I was wrong. And there are people in the chat that thought I was wrong too. But in all actuality, I was 100% right. But because if you're not liked and then you're not saying, if what you're saying is not fitting the environment, then you're wrong. But that's not how life goes, guys. That's not how life goes. Facts and winning of argument can be evaluated based on the truthfulness of the statements and whether it makes sense, how clearly concise the arguments are. And in reality speaking and logically speaking, it makes sense. Facts. Facts are not based on research. Research is not created to produce facts outside of the facts of what they found and the outcome of that particular independent research. You cannot use one research study to postulate that a whole group of people act a certain way. For women and men, can we please stop? Give you an example. Black men are killing black women every 6 hours. Now, how are you going to prove that? Same stuff. Black women are aborting 607 million babies a year. Come on. Guys, stop it. I was on the phone with my brother, shout out to Chaos Rain. I was on the phone with Chaos Rain, talking to him about talking to the CDC. I was asking questions that we discuss on YouTube that I talk about, legitimacy of the numbers. I have 30 minutes of audio which actually was paused because she spent another 30, 40 minutes looking for the answers that I asked for. And if these people who work there can't give information and analysis of the sexual behavior and intuition of black men and black women as it relates to their reproductive rights and sexual mating choices, and this is the CDC that everybody loves to throw in your face, I laugh at that. Let me tell y'all something, guys. I studied this stuff for years, and I see it every day. There's no gender war. I hate to break it to you. There's no gender war. What we have is that as a people, we're in a state in which we don't rule ourselves. We don't make the rules or regulations. Now, we could do a better job of controlling things economically for ourselves. For some reason, we're not. But black women are not at war with black men, and black men are not at war with black women. We are living collectively together. May not always be the most functional, but we are living collectively together as a community. In many ways, not always, but many ways, it just so happens the outcomes and the manner in which we live together and that the decisions that we make socially are not always in the best interest of yourself personally and our people. And both sides are the blame. It's not one more than the other, but because we're men and we're supposed to be the ones to engineer the society, men are going to typically be the blame of the rise and the fall of any people. And that's just historically speaking. And it's just facts. There's no gender war. I can take you through the hood right now, and I will show you black women and black men, although they may not be doing the most positive of behaviors, they are loving each other, caring for each other, and dealing with one another for every which way. I can take you to the suburbs and I can show you black men and black women who are living somewhat highly and more functional, who are enjoying their life. I can take you to upscale spaces, such as where I'm at, in spaces, middle class and upscale spaces. I go to in the hood too. I have business in the hood. Black men and black women are talking, laughing, and kicking it, having fun, chilling together, and they are loving it. They are loving it. They may not be getting married. Yeah, she may have 2 kids for 2 different men, and she's with another guy. He don't give a damn. Yeah, he may have 3, 4 children for 3 different women, and she's still with him, and she don't care because he's making her happy. That's the reality. For all the reasons you claim people don't want to be together in the community, the normal aggregate, the normal social stratosphere, in observance, shows otherwise. It shows otherwise. You're creating false narratives that don't exist, but it's a moneymaker on YouTube. Therefore, if Cynthia G said it, got to be true. if Obsidian said it, damn, it got to be right. If Angry Man said it, got to be this. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Half of them are capping. The other half just don't know what the hell they're talking about. And then you just got others just talking silly shit. That's the reality. Kevin Samuels, the only one, shout out to him. Although I don't agree with most of the stuff he talk about, he actually refers these people to get therapy. And I've heard content creators allude to the fact that People are using YouTube as therapy. They're sick, they're deranged, they're all over the place. They need help. Even O'Shea said it about Cynthia G in his last video. For her to say those things, this is a hurt individual, scarred individual. I don't know what the hell she is. I really don't care. But what I do know is that her and divestment, I think her name is Zealot or whatever the hell, for you to be that sick to historically disparage and throw a slap in the face of men who were hung so that you can live today. Shame on you, divestment zealot. You just spit in the eye of millions of black men that died for you, went to war so that you can have the ability to live the quote unquote American dream. Regardless of what you have experienced now today as it relates to the functionality of black men, there was black men that helped win every damn war that this country has fought, including the Civil War, that helped you gain your freedom and your family's freedom, down to you as an individual. But yet you want to show a black man being hung while a black girl swinging, but not carrying on a swing. That is irresponsible, and it's just downright evil. It's just evil. And then it's no different because, yes, we know Obsidian said black women drowned in a pool of blood. That was horrible. Should have never stated that. He was wrong for stating that. But hell, I've seen people say worse things than that in the manosphere. Heard people talk about beat a woman down, beat her down, or I can't tell, I can kick this and that. Physically, literally talked about how they would physically beat up black women. I've heard that and had to argue down viciously with men saying that type of rhetoric. So let's not here talk about, well, the men saying this and the women. No. You're both saying ignorant things. You're both saying negative things. You're both saying very toxic statements that are not benefiting us as a people. It's not. And that's a fact. But that's YouTube. This is Black YouTube. This is the manosphere. This is the pink pill. This is the divestment. This is the co-ed black sectors, little sectors in YouTube who talk the most about relationships and know the least. Most of these people have never been married in their life. Most of these people have never been engaged. Most of these people don't even take care of their own children. Some of them had their children running around in the background. You can hear them, and they arguing with me. Some of these people are on YouTube all day, don't have no job, don't have a job. Not one job at all. And they talk the most shit. That's facts. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because, I do work, real practice, real business. And got my little iPad here to do some things and activities. I'm going to get involved in my last session for today. And then I'm going home and I will do some more videos. I'm going to crank out as many videos as I can. I'm going to start doing the pre-videos, premieres, and posting videos. It's a new setting that you can use to do pre-recorded videos and just post them at a certain time. I'm going to start utilizing that. And I'm not going to be I don't go live on my Rebirth channel that much anyway. or not Rebirth. Yeah, I don't go live on Rebirth that much. But I will be posting things, and then we'll go from there. So, you ready to get out of here, guys? This is D Durrell, D Durrell Life Solutions. I hope you all have a great day. Please subscribe and share.